Good morning, guys. Good morning. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I'm sorry I'm having a bad allergy morning. Something must be blooming. But other than that, I am doing fantastic. How are you guys doing this morning? I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I, again, did nothing, which is pretty much my MO for the weekends. I do nothing. So, Judy's trivia for this morning. Pat Dixon was the head deputy DA of the Major Crimes Unit. He helped Jackson prosecute Phil Spector and was originally tapped to prosecute the doctor responsible for the death of Michael Jackson. He ultimately assigned it to other ADAs as he was responsible for assigning cases. Cool. Yeah, I like him. He just seems to be like really laid back and friendly and nice. Like he doesn't seem like a lawyer type. He just, I don't know. Every time he gets up there and starts talking, it just seems like he just seems like a nice fatherly type guy, like not an aggressive prosecutor like Jackson does, you know? But oh my gosh, y'all. I feel like I'm just dripping everywhere. Okay, so we are going to start a new trial today, and this clip is like an hour and 25 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started because we're not going to get through all of this one part today. We are on part 80 of ours, none of theirs. Part 80 of ours. We've been doing this a while. So, hey, Terry and Judy and whoever else is lurking. Thank you for being here. To my lurkers and my replay crew, we love you too. And I think we're going to like this witness. I really do. He is a firefighter paramedic. And his name, forgot, Bruce Liverpool.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated.
No, it's just allergies. I'll be fine by that.
Spell your first and last name for the record.
Bruce Anthony Liverpool. BRUCEANTHONY.
You might pull that microphone a little closer to you. I'm sure we'll be able to hear you, but just in case.
Stop it, StreamYard.
You're in uniform, so you're obviously employed. Could you tell us what you do for a living?
Work as a firefighter paramedic for the city of Los Angeles.
How long have you been employed in that capacity?
I've been with the city for 23 years, 7 years as a firefighter, and the remaining time as a firefighter paramedic.
What's the difference?
The paramedic function is advanced life support. All of the firefighters for the city are firefighter EMTs. Mine happens to have a P, which means we can do the advanced life support.
So to become a fireman for the city of Los Angeles, you have to go through the fire academy run by the city, correct?
Correct.
And you did that, obviously.
Yes.
And then to move up to that next level, to be a paramedic or an EMTP, is that what you said?
Correct.
You need additional training, is that right?
That's correct.
Could you briefly outline that for us and when you took it?
That was about in 1990, 91 in that area. It is a 6 months program. You take a class that is a didactic period. I don't know exactly the period of time that covers. And then there's a clinical period where you actually go to the hospital and start IVs and assess patients. And then you move to a 20 shift field ride out where you work with two other competent paramedics and get a feel for the actual performance of that duty, and then you're certified after a written test, state test,
And you did that I'm trying to do the math quickly, about 16 years ago?
roughly.
As a paramedic, and you've continued as a firefighter paramedic for the last 16 years, is there some continuing education or recertification requirements by the state or by the county?
Yes, there's 48 hours of continuing education every 2 years.
Thank you. Your Honor, before continuing, I'd like to mark a couple exhibits.
All right. Your next is 168.
Thank you. As People's 168, this is a copy of a Los Angeles Fire Department abstract of Rescue Ambulance 27 Journal for December 24th, 2001. It's just part of that. May that be marked as People's 168.
So marked.
Thank you. It's People's 169 for identification. This is a copy of a Los Angeles County EMS Agency Medical Control Guidelines. And we're going to talk about these guidelines. I think our witness is going to explain them. May that be marked as People's 169.
Yes.
At People's 170 for identification, we have a CD that has a radio transmission between this witness and a hospital on that same date, December 24th of 2001. May that be marked as 170?
Yes.
And the transcript of that conversation, may that be marked as People's 171?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Liverpool, I'd like to invite your attention to December 24th of 2001. Were you working that day?
Yes,
As a fire paramedic, you work 24-hour shifts for the most part. Is that correct?
correct.
Do you recall where you were working, what part of the city, and what rig you were working on?
I was working at Fire Station 27 on Rescue 27, an ALS ambulance, and in the Hollywood district.
Do you have a partner on that rig?
Yes,
Do you recall that partner's name?
Dan Stark.
Hang on a minute. I'm confused. That's Dixon, right? He's the prosecutor. So this is a prosecution witness? I thought they arrested already. So why? I'm so confused. Yeah, because the last one we did was Nicole, right? And now we're on him. Okay. All right. I was just double checking. So is this another prosecution witness taken out of order? Have they still not rested? I thought they were done. Hey, Jill. I'm fine. It's just allergies. I promise you. I will be totally normal by this afternoon. I have days like this, and I don't know if it's a cold or an allergy. But 9 times out of 10, by the end of the day, by like afternoon, I know, okay, it's not a cold, it's allergies. And I used to be like, oh, I'm getting sick, I feel so terrible, I'm getting so sick, I can't quit coughing, I can't quit sneezing, and then by 3-4 o'clock, it's like, oh, it was just allergies. So I've quit saying that. Because I used to, when Travis and I was dating, because he lived like 2 hours south of me, I get to his house and I'd be like, I'm so sick. I'm coming down with something. Don't get near me. I'm probably contagious. And then a few hours later, I'd be completely fine. So I learned my lesson. Don't do that anymore. It's just allergies. um, what was the Reed case? That they were taking them out of order?
Your Honor, at this time, previously asked defense counsel if we could put up defendant's E to the fourth, I believe.
Okay.
And this witness has a copy of that.
Oh, honey, they sleep. They're all over me at night. I'm practically hugging Spike all night long.
Could I have a moment to see? Do you have them? Well, maybe we can use ours.
Okay.
Think up there.
Well, in this case, the prosecution didn't rest. And they keep putting prosecution witnesses in the middle of the defense case. But I thought they finally did their last witness. But I guess not. I guess this is a prosecution witness, which I think this would be extremely confusing for a jury because it's confusing when we watch it.
Your pointer, I might ask you to look at that. I don't know if you can see this. It disappeared. There it is. This is either you have a copy of that document in front of you, don't you? What kind of document is this?
This is a medical report, Fire Department 902M, as we call it. It's our medical report that we generate on every medical call.
And it is for a specific date, is that correct?
That's correct.
And it is for what, December 24th, 01?
Correct.
Now, this is an official document by the Los Angeles Fire Department, correct?
Yes.
And it's made out, well, you made this out, didn't you?
Correct.
You recognize your handwriting on it.
Yes, I do.
And it's part of your job description, your job duties to do that
Yes.
for every patient that you deal with?
Correct.
And you do it at or near the time that the event happens, correct?
Correct.
And the information is correct and true as you write it down to the best of your ability, is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, when you said it's a 902M, what's this document all about? What's the purpose of this document?
It is to document the event, the patient's injuries. It has certain billing aspects. We put the patient name, their address, their mailing address, all that pertinent information, any insurance information, social security number, that type. And then there's a comment section that we document the pertinent medical findings at the time that we have patient contact. We document their vital signs and any treatment modalities that we might apply to the patient.
Maybe I could ask Sudhi to, let's try to highlight the top third of that. Is that possible? And we'll talk about it a little bit more. In an earlier answer, you said that you had a partner that day, Daniel, I think Daniel, is that? And so now, on this day, at about this time, you assisted, according to this document, a patient, is that correct?
Yes.
And the patient's name was?
Lana Clarkson.
And does it indicate on this document or another document that you reviewed where you went to help her?
The address is 7440 West Palo Vista Drive.
And about what time did you do that?
The time is 22:55.
What was her problem?
According to the report that I have, that she had slipped on a carpet. She had a slip and fall injury, and she fractured both wrists.
Apparently in painful injuries. Is that correct?
Very painful, yes.
Now, you said that there's two of you there. How do you divide your duties, and what job did you have? We're helping named on this form, Lana Clarkson.
Well, my main duty as the attendant is to handle the documentation and is basically in control of the call. The other patient, the other paramedic is the patient man. He deals with the assessment of a patient, but he also drives. So it's kind of a split duty. And when we have just the two of us, we go between those duties. There's not anything absolute.
In other words, are you suggesting that although you each have a function, you both try to focus on the patient too?
Correct.
Why?
Well, the patient is the most important aspect of what we do. So we need to render care to the patient. There are two of us. We're partners. So one may see something or deal with a particular situation while the other one's dealing with the other. In this case, she had two wrist fractures. So we can split that, or it requires some effort to handle that. So a person needs to support while the other person is putting the splint on and check for injuries. If one missed something, check and balance type operation.
So no matter who's filling out the report or not, you both in a situation like this would focus on the patient and try to render assistance.
Absolutely.
Let's look at this document, the top half of this document. I think we called it defendant's either report. If we look at the top of it, Mr. Jackson just gave me a pointer like yours. So as we look at this, we see Lana Clarkson's name here, correct, in the middle of it?
Correct.
Document. You referred to this as a 902M, is that right?
That's correct.
And that's just off the page over here, right?
Yes.
What I'd like to ask you about next is this number here. It starts out with a BD number, and here it is. Looks like it's BD 484831. Is that correct? Or did I get that wrong?
Here
I'll
is
write it here. BD 464031. Is that right?
correct.
All right, I'll read that again so I didn't cause a problem for the reporter. BD 464031. Is that right?
Yes.
What is that number, and why is it on here, and is it important?
That is the medical report, the 902 sequence number. Each 902M, this medical sheet, has an individual sequence number. There are multiple copies, 4 or 5 copies, depending on the era of the form, and each one has that imprinted into it. So it's a tracking number it's unique to the form. I believe the sequence changes 9 numbers every time.
So this BD number, for want of a better term, is unique to each patient that you deal with. Is that correct?
Correct.
And with respect to every form that's filled out with this incident, would it bear that number?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay, all right. You filled out other forms. In fact, we're going to talk about a couple other documents that were filled out either by you or the hospital. Is that right?
Correct.
And that same BD number appears on all of them, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If we could, Sudie, could we go down to the bottom half of it, of this form? Maybe a little, yeah, from there down. A little farther down. Right there. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to focus on defense E to the, maybe we need to move. Oh, okay. Oh, well, we're a little off it, but we'll talk about this anyway. As I look at this document, or at this bottom portion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Second audio-visual guy in the room. There we go. Thanks, Mr. Jackson. There it is. Okay. As we look at this bottom half of defense E to the fourth, right in this area, is there some part of the form that allows you to make an assessment of the victims or the patient's situation, whether they're alert or not?
The level of consciousness, I'm not sure how to work this.
Yeah.
You may.
There you go. All right. Okay.
In this section right here, there is a Glasgow Coma Scale,
Thank you, Stephen.
and it's very, very difficult to see. That's a 15, which in layman's terms simply means that the patient was able to make a conscious decision for herself. It's a set of numbers
Glasgow. I
that
told
rate
you
a person, their level of
Glasgow.
consciousness, and she scored the
Not
highest,
Blue
which is a
stew or
15.
whatever Brendan was saying.
And how's that determined? How's that assessed?
I believe you have a sheet that gives the specific numbers for that. As per the eyes, you approach a person, if they open their eyes immediately, then that spontaneous eye opening, that would rate the highest score possible, which would be a 4. The motor would be if a person is able to follow commands. And then the final would be verbal. If they're able to speak intelligently to you by the questions that you ask, all those have a value, and we mark that on there. So 465 is the highest value. Because the highest is 15, you don't need to write 465 and then put a total. You can just write 15.
So in layman's terms, still might be alert oriented, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Going just below that, I see there's a box here that's not checked, and it says ETOH/drug. What does that mean?
Specific to this form, if you suspect that a person had alcohol or drugs, whether they be prescription drugs or illicit drugs, then you would check that box.
And in this situation with Lana Clarkson on December 24th of 2001, did you suspect that she was involved in or had any alcohol or drugs, been using anything like that?
I did not.
There's no foundation that this witness recalls this incident. That's why he just testified generally about the form. I think the foundation needs to be laid that he has some recollection of the incident.
Rephrase the question.
Well, let me withdraw, and maybe we'll move to another area to make the point, and we'll come back to this. As you're in a rig, for example, in this situation, and you're going to the hospital, did you determine that this, based on this form, this witness, or excuse me, this patient needed some assistance, some medical attention, that you needed?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's the same objection. We don't have any foundation at all that he recalls the patient or the incident. So we can't make an assessment absent that foundation.
At this point, it's a stain.
Did you call into the hospital on this situation?
Yes.
Why?
According to the medical form, we made base contact.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. That's going to be hearsay at this point.
Well, there's an exception to the hearsay rule. This is an official record. He prepared the record. It's also a business record. He prepared the business record. He can't testify from his own memory, that's fine, but he can testify as to what the record reflects.
Well, and not all of the foundational requirements have been made.
Oh, I think he did. I don't know if you were, I listened to those. It certainly came out as very clearly a business record. And is this required to be done by the fire department, these logs to be filled out?
Yes.
It's an official record.
Right. fine, that point's been passed, then, but we do need to have it clear whether or not he's simply reading the data.
And that's fine. I think he just said the record reflects, he's not indicating that this is based on his memory. He's based on, his last answer was, this is what the document reflects. You may proceed.
Thank you. So based on the record, the document that we're now looking at, Defense E to the fourth, you made a call into the hospital, is that correct?
Correct.
Why?
Based upon the form that the injuries that are reported on the form, that the patient required some pain management.
Have you had an opportunity before taking the witness stand here to review and listen to a transcript or listen to a tape or read a transcript of that radio transmission?
Yes to both.
And may I play that now? It's one of those people 70.
All right?
Yeah, I think that is hearsay.
Overruled as to when the tape was made and the circumstances it was being made under. It's clearly a contemporaneous event. It's describing an event that's taking place. The objection is overruled.
Before we do that, perhaps we could pass out the transcripts, people 71. Okay, see if I can find them. Okay. And pass it out to the jury.
Yes.
Did the court have one?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And while we're doing that, Your Honor, can we stipulate that the reporter doesn't have to take down this?
Yes, the
That's
plaintiff,
weird.
the tape reporter does not have to report what she hears on the tape.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, can you play People's 70? Mr. Liverpool, you have a copy. Why don't you follow along with us?
What the fudge? What just happened?
No.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that
What?
the testimony you
No,
may give in the
no,
cause
no. How far were we? Crap. Court TV.
It's not a fire department form. It's not filled out by a firefighter, and it's not filled out by anybody under his control or direction. So this, I believe, would be hearsay.
I'm going to try to lay a foundation here before that. May I approach, please, Your Honor?
Yes.
This is People's 57. I think I'll hand it to you.
Yes, I have seen this form.
We highlight the top half and see if I can do this.
Oh, we're past that, aren't we? Stop buffering. What time is it?
Correct.
Okay. Going down here to the next line, and I'll try to highlight it here. This information here, where I'm now pointing, could you tell us what that says?
It says fell on carpet while dancing, bilateral wrist deformities, good capillary refill, pre and.
Did we get that far? We didn't get that
Uh-oh,
far.
okay. All right.
Good work, Mr. Bruno. I don't know yet. He may not be able to, but I'm going to allow him to ask some foundation.
See this number?
Yes,
May I approach, please, Your Honor?
Yes.
This is People's 57.
if they wake up at that point. If they don't wake up at that point, then they get a 1 right there. And that follows through each of the different categories.
Now, going back to defendants E to the fourth, your 902M form, you determined based on your notes from this situation that Lana Clarkson was a 15.
That's correct.
So she was the top of the scale with respect to awareness. Is that right?
Correct.
Would that be consistent or inconsistent with someone being under the influence of drug or alcohol?
A 15
Well,
would
I'm
be
trying to
consistent
find my
with a person
Discord
not
on
being
my
under
desktop.
the
I
influence.
can't find it.
Thank you.
Oh, there it is.
Next, could we go to People's 57, please, Susan?
Couldn't find it on the phone, but I have 2 accounts. 'Cause I don't know how to use Discord.
Do you have the hospital base form with you up there?
No, sir.
Okay. May I approach, please, Your Honor? Yes. This is People's 57. I'll hand it to you.
Yes, I have seen this form.
We highlight the top half and see if I can do this. Tell us what this form is, please.
This is a base hospital radio
And oh, there it goes.
all the pertinent information. And if they have a box missing, then they'll ask you a question about it.
And you learned about this form and it's used during your background and training to be a paramedic.
One time I poured coffee creamer in my cereal and milk in the coffee. And then I took a bite of the cereal and I went, wait a minute, why does it taste funny?
Into the top right hand.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this form. It's not a fire department form. It's not filled out by a firefighter, and it's not filled out by somebody under his control or direction. So this, I believe, would be piercing.
I'm going to try to lay a foundation here.
Before you go ahead and try to do that.
Okay. I'm going to invite your attention to the top right-hand corner here. Do you see this number?
Yes,
And that number is, again, DB 464031, correct?
correct.
Oh. Crazy. Huh.
Yes.
That's part of her job.
I don't see as the gavel drops anymore on my Discord. So I don't know if she took it down. because it wasn't really my server. It was Toxic Orchid. It was her server. And it was where we got, like, she put all the court documents and stuff, and she let everybody get them there. And she used to, like, do announcements when people went online, like when we went online live. And I didn't even notice, but yeah, she hasn't been sending out notices when I go live. So maybe she took the whole server down. Okay, Jill. Huh. I wonder why. I know I hadn't seen her in a while. Usually she's like flitting around between everybody's chats saying, please go to Ask the Gavel Drops. But, weird. Because she had just started her YouTube channel. If I see Brian again, I need to get him to make me. Only Brian can't stand when there's any technical difficulties, so he comes in and says hi and then books it because he can't stand it when there's lag or problems or whatever. And I guess I am especially glitchy, so he says things like, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm just here to chat with friends, and then he leaves. But that's fine. But next time I see him, I'm going to ask him to make a Discord for me.
Absolutely.
Part of the paramedic protocol to deliver health services, medical services to the patient. Is that correct?
I don't object to that. It's a separate agency, it's a separate entity. It's not part of the paramedic's protocol. It's not part of his entity. It's part of somebody else's entity. He can't lay a foundation for somebody else's business record.
He may not be able to, and he may be able to, depending upon his familiarity with the form, how it's filled out, when it's filled out. It all depends. I don't know yet. He may not be able to, but I'm going to allow him to ask some foundational questions. We'll see where we're at.
Thank you. During your paramedic training, you spent time at the hospital.
Yes.
Were you ever in a situation or part of in the hospital while a paramedic called in, such as you did in this case, and filled out a form just like this?
Yes.
Did that happen just once or a number of times during your training?
It happened a number of times.
And it happened a number of times so that you would become familiar with the whole process, including the nurse's duty to fill out this base hospital form, like the one we have up on the board, People's 57, while you're doing your job on the other end. Isn't that correct?
As well as compound.
Well, it sort of has to be compound by nature. I agree, it's somewhat leading, but it's also a foundational.
You have to ask the question again.
Uh-oh, okay. All right.
Good work, Mr. Bruno.
During your paramedic training, you said that you were in the hospital when this form, a form just like this was filled out as a paramedic called in. Is that correct?
Correct.
Based on your background training and experience, is it part of the LA County paramedic medical procedure for a nurse to fill this form out as a paramedic like yourself in this situation calls in information so that she documents it?
Your Honor, yeah, that's compounded, and part of it is accurate and part of it's not accurate. It's not part of the paramedic protocol for the hospital personnel to fill out the form, and that's what the question's asking.
I'm going to allow him to attempt to lay a foundation. If you want to cross-examine on the foundation before we get on to anything else, you may do so. And then we'll see. I'll make a determination whether this is sufficient foundation.
That's the question on what you?
Sure.
Firefighter, or is it firefighter paramedic? What's the firefighter looking for? Okay, so did you ever work at the hospital? As a hospital employee?
As a hospital employee, no.
You went to the hospital and observed what the medical personnel did in the course of their duties, right?
Correct.
I suppose you observed doctors putting stitches in people, is that right?
Correct.
But that didn't make you a doctor qualified to put stitches in. But in terms of the training manual, have you ever examined the medical personnel training manual?
For the nurse?
Yes.
No.
Have you ever received any training from Cedars-Sinai as to how they maintain their records, what their obligations and responsibilities are?
Not from Cedars, no.
And that's where this record was ostensibly made, is that right?
That's correct.
So you have observed various nursing or other personnel make records over the course of time, correct?
Correct.
And that's your entire foundation as to what their responsibilities are, is that right?
No, sir.
Well, you know that they have to, what other training? Or
This is a county form. This county form is required by all hospitals in the LA County area. It's the same, it's a standard form. Our medical 902 form is separate. We use a separate form than the County of Los Angeles Fire Department uses. However, this form is standard within the county, and it must be filled out by the hospital anytime a paramedic generates a radio report.
Okay, I understand that. However, what I'm focusing on is the training and responsibilities that you have specific knowledge of the people at Cedars-Sinai Hospital.
Mr. Burnett, I'm going to interrupt you for a second based on something the witness just said. You said this is a county form. Does the form belong to Cedars? Does it belong to the County of Los Angeles, if you know?
Belongs to the County of Los Angeles, sir.
Then all these objections, this is now an official record. You don't need the foundation you need for a business record, and therefore I'm going to allow this to proceed.
Well, that leads us to the question, is the person filling it out an official within the meaning of the official records document?
I'm satisfied that under this particular, the way this works, from what I've heard from this witness, this is an official document, but although the employee is an employee of Cedars, which is obviously not a county hospital, it's a private hospital. However, it is sort of a quasi or joint operation. On this, I'm going to find it's an official record, and therefore the person who fills it out is working in a capacity as a county employee, a quasi county employee, because of the unique nature of what I've just heard, and I'm going to allow it. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Going back to my earlier question, the BD number that we referred to earlier, that was the same number that's on your 902M form for Lana Clarkson, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this form we're now looking at, which, what did I mark it as? What did I mark it as? People's 57? Yeah, People's 57. This is the hospital's copy of the transmission that you made over the radio that we listened to. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it was done at or near the time that you made that transmission, because we know it has the same BD number, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and it relates the same day to December 24th, 2001?
Correct.
Okay. Going down here to the next line, and I'll try to highlight it here. This information here, where I'm now pointing, could you tell us what that says?
It says fell on carpet while dancing, bilateral wrist deformities, good capillary refill, pre and I don't think it has anything after that, but I believe it is to be pre and post. No ETOH. And in the medical history, right in that area, it has asthma, and then below that, there's medication, albuterol. I see, it actually drops down the way she wrote it. Good capillary refill, pre and post splinting, and then it goes on.
Okay. All right. So again, is your transmitting over the radio the conversation we heard? Apparently, the nurse is writing down the information, correct?
They write down simultaneously while the radio report is going, because there have been technical difficulties and you lose the tape. So that information is written down simultaneously, and at the top of the form, you can see the time when she started it was 23, I believe it says 23:35.
Thank you. Now I'd like to direct your attention to this part of the document that I'm now pointing at. It looks like the third line down. looks like it has a 0 with a slash through it. It's a little hard to read, but ETOH, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What does ETOH mean in paramedic vocabulary?
It's an abbreviation for ethanol,
And that means?
alcohol, common drinking alcohol.
So this indicates what about alcohol?
That the patient did not have any alcohol on board.
In their system to the best of your determination at the time, is that correct? As we heard in the tape, is that right?
That's correct.
Could I have a moment, please? Yes.
So she wasn't drunk when she broke her wrist?
Did you, maybe 6 weeks ago, were you contacted about this at the fire station?
Somewhere in that time frame, yes.
Roughly speaking.
Yes,
Was it somebody from the district attorney's office or someone else?
someone else.
Okay, could you describe that person for us?
She was a approximately 45-year-old female, extremely long, blondish hair, bright red lipstick.
Your Honor, I have a DMV photograph of Tawny Tyndall. That be marked as people's 72s? Yes. Ask you if this is the person that contacted you. Can you see that at all?
Yes,
Is that the person?
yes.
Okay. So you were at the fire station. That's okay, sweetie. Thank you very much. The person came in to talk to you about what?
She came into the front office of the fire station. They called me to the front office. She said that she had a medical report 902M that she wanted to ask me about.
Was it did you see the form at the time?
Yes, I did.
Is it the same one we've been talking about, defense E to the fourth?
Yes, sir.
The one you have in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Fine. And then what happened?
I took the form from her hand, I read over it, and I noticed the date of the form. And I asked her, I questioned her, I don't remember specifically what I said, but I asked her something to the effect, is this person suing the homeowner where she fell? And she indicated yes.
She said that there was a lawsuit going on about the
Civil lawsuit, yes.
slip and fall.
Yes,
And as you've told us, you remembered that you slipped on that same rug.
at the time when she approached me, I did not until the tape.
When you heard the tape that we've all heard here, People's 170, you recalled that.
Yes,
Okay. So you inquired whether or not this was some kind of lawsuit, right?
correct.
And then what happened?
She affirmed that it was a lawsuit. I mentioned to her, I said, isn't there a statute of limitations on something like that? And she kind of laughed it off. We went into the kitchen where there was more room to sit down. She took notes and asked me some information, the meanings of certain portions of the 902M.
Much like we've done here today,
Correct.
including whether or not Lana Clarkson, the patient in this case, was under the influence of alcohol or drugs?
Correct.
Okay, and you told her what?
Essentially, at that time, I had absolutely no recollection of the event. I told her that I did not mark it. I could not say for sure one way or the other, but that I had not marked the form.
And that whether you marked it or not, that's important, I assume.
She had alcohol because of what we have already discussed about giving morphine, but without any further documentation, I was unable to say 100%.
No. And you told her at the time you didn't really recall it, is that correct?
Correct.
Since then, you've had the opportunity to not only to look at the 902M form again.
I remember the other guy said that he thought she was drunk, but his partner didn't check it on the form.
Right?
Correct.
But also the hospital-based form
Correct.
and the radio transmissions that we've all listened to in People's 170.
Correct.
Now, did you ask her, or did she say to you about the lawsuit? I mean, who brought that up first?
I mentioned it.
And at any time did she say, no, this was, I'm sorry. This was not a civil lawsuit, but it's a criminal case involving Phil Spector?
No.
Thank you. Nothing further at this time.
Thank you, Cross-examination
Okay, we're going to stop there before cross. And I am going to, I forgot to make a portal, guys. So I'm going to make a portal real quick. So I can portal you over to our new case. Uh-oh, I think I'm going to sneeze again. False alarm. Okay. Yuri came to the courthouse Friday? Oh. Yeah, I would say. There was a motion. I think they made a motion about that because at the last trial, who was it? Was it Brian Albert or Brian Higgins? Somebody sat next to Paul and glared at the jury the whole time. And so I thought they made a motion about certain people not being allowed in during closing arguments. But if they did, she probably denied it. But that's like a vague memory in the back of my head during one of the pretrial conferences. Yeah. Jerk. What a jerk. Okay. So you are now set to portal to our new case, which I will tell you about when we get over there because I cut and paste all the information that I know about it into the chat so I could tell you because I know nothing about this next case. So I will see you over there. And if you are not going to join us, I will see you again in the morning for more Phil Spector. Oh, okay. I couldn't remember who it was. I knew it was people that were third-party culprit types or whatever, but I couldn't remember who it was. Okay, so I will see you guys over there. Be kind to people. Love your family. Jesus loves you, and so do I. Bye, guys.